and welcome back to Sportsballin. I'm Dylan Simmons alongside Seth and TJ Warner. Let's get right into it. The national championship was decided in college basketball as the Jayhawks of Kansas defeated the North Carolina Tar Heels in a thrilling matchup, just as I said they would. The victory now serves as Kansas's 10th national championship in school history and their second under head coach Bill Self. Guys, how did Kansas outlast the Heels in this one?
Yeah, well, Dylan, I just want to point out that was the only time you were right during the show. That's still been the only time you've been right during the show. But anyways, back to serious note. Kansas did a phenomenal job with mid-game adjustments at halftime. Bill Self, he's a Hall of Fame type coach. He really proved why he was during this college national championship. And man, did he get his players coming out and running in the second half, getting out in transition early, and just turning up a different level type of defense in the second half, really causing havoc on Caleb Love, not letting him drive to the basket or create his own shot, and really boxing out Armando Bacot on the second half. So it was more of a coaching battle. Bill Self beat out Hubert Davis, in my opinion, in the college national championship. Yeah,
for me, I think outlast is the wrong word. Kansas outplayed North Carolina. They outplayed the Tar Heels. And, you mentioned Bacot. North Carolina, they found a lot of success going him in the post in the first half, but then the second half, they just kept going to him, and they kept going to him, and they kept going to him. And it's like as the game went on, it wasn't working, in the second half. And I would have liked to see North Carolina try to change up the offense a little bit. And, I get it. Bacot, he still had 15 points and 15 rebounds. He had an excellent game. But he was also 3 for 13 from the field. So, and again, those struggles, that was mainly in the second half.
Well, I have to agree, and hold on just one second. I'm going to soak this in.
Oh, my Lord.
This is vindication. For weeks upon weeks, I have been tormented by these two men beside me. Well, this week is going to be different. So here is what I'm going to start with. First of all, Kansas overcame a 15-point deficit to come back and get this victory. All right? Kansas could have easily sat on their laurels. They could have just let this go, but they didn't. They stayed with it, and they made sure to keep going. And they shut down Caleb Love. Caleb Love was a huge factor throughout, but they managed to stop him in the second half. And to me, that more than anything led to them getting the victory. And I don't think there's any way you can deny it. Kansas managed to make adjustments, and I give full credit to Bill Self for that. And Kansas proved why they are the best team in the nation. And by the way, I'm looking for that pizza you still owe me.
Hey, Dylan, real quick, where did those glasses come from? Where did those come from?
I've had them
Where did you have those?
Yes. I was planning it specifically for this, okay? And you don't need to know. They just happened, all right? Gosh. It was a truly great moment, and it was great for me. All right, moving on. MTSU men's tennis continued their historic season in grand fashion as they defeated number 37 Memphis and Alabama A&M on Friday. This marks the number 18 Blue Raiders at 17 consecutive wins on the season, and they now sit at 23-3 on the season. With a combined 11-0 performance on Friday, how impressive is the men's tennis team right now, guys?
Yeah, this is a tennis team that you don't want to play right now if you're anyone else in NCAA. The MTSU men's tennis team has proven they can beat top-notch teams time and time again. Obviously, they're winning 17 straight. They're one of the hottest teams in the country right now. This is not a team that you want to mess with.
Yeah, talk about winning over quality opponents. During this 17-match win streak, 8 of those wins have came over ranked opponents. So it's not like they're just beating up on, lower-ranking teams or teams the MTSU typically beats in a season. They have scheduled this season Power 5 schools, premier talent, and not only are they scheduling them, they are beating them.
Well said. And I was actually there on person calling the game against Alabama A&M, and I've got to say, that men's tennis team is on a different level right now. They first take out Memphis 4-0, a very good Memphis team, number 37 in the nation, not a pushover in the slightest. And then they go out and they beat Alabama A&M 7-0 as well. Right now, and of course it was on Senior Sunday, Chris Edge, Stephon Hollis, big shout out to you guys, congratulations. They are playing effectively, the youth looked good, the freshmen looked good, John Shin, Mattia Bernardi, among others. To me, this team is just putting everything together at the correct moment, and especially leading into the CUSA tournament, they are going to be contenders, and I could very well see them taking not only that championship, but being national contenders as well. MTSU Tennis has truly announced themselves. And we're going to move on. MTSU Baseball has climbed back to a 500 record after defeating the Marshall Thundering Herd in their most recent series. This catapults the Raiders to 5th in the CUSA standings and gives them much-needed momentum at the 30-game mark in the regular season. Guys, how can MTSU use this victory to establish momentum?
MT baseball is coming back, I'm telling you right now. They put in together a couple good wins against Western Kentucky. If they had the Memphis game, I feel like they would have came out and showed Memphis who's boss, and if it wasn't postponed. MT baseball is going to be a force to be reckoned with in Conference USA play. They've already shown it here early on. Yes, they've had struggles early in the season, but they're starting to put it together, put the pieces in the right spot, trying to figure it out. Their batting average has skyrocketed in the last couple games. They're a team to be reckoned with in Conference USA.
Yeah, and these past few weeks, as they've been, it seems like they've just been building momentum. This win is this series win, is their third straight CUSA series win. That's a big deal. And right now in the CUSA standings, they're currently ranked over Old Dominion, who earlier in the season, they were in the top 25. Now, Old Dominion, they have suffered a couple of conference losses, so they've fallen out of the top 25 now. But, I mean, Old Dominion, they are a premier team in CUSA, and the fact that MTSU is ahead of them right now is a big testament to how well the guys are playing.
Well said, well said. And MT baseball, like you said, has turned it on at really the exact right time. They were struggling a little bit earlier in the year, but it seems like they found their groove, and they're finding something here that is really going to pay dividends for them as the season has gone forward. Like you said, they've beaten Old Dominion. They beat an Auburn team that was really, really good earlier on in the season, and they've been able to really find that consistency. I think that's the biggest thing. They found consistency in how they've played, and now they're 5th in the CUSA, 7-5 overall in the conference record. They're going to be a team that can make some noise, and I think they can overcome this hurdle and really find that next groove. What do you guys think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've obviously, like Seth said earlier, they have 3 Conference USA Series wins in a row. They have a couple more coming up recently, or in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be really big for them later down the road. That's really going to be able to tell us if they're going to be top tier, top 5 in Conference USA play or not. But MT baseball is definitely on the right track. A couple more series wins in these next couple of weeks, and they can be standing really well.
100% agree. MT baseball is definitely finding their groove as this season progresses, and I'm sure we're going to see more brilliance on the diamond as it moves forward. Speaking of brilliance, when we come back, we will discuss the Grizzlies ending their regular season with a bang, the Preds losing a heartbreaker to the Penguins, and our takes on this year's Masters Tournament. All that and more when we come back right here on Sportsballin.
America, welcome home the brave. The brave men and women who serve their country are coming home. Home to their cities and towns. Home to their mountains and valleys. Home to their families and friends. Home to America. Some of these warriors are coming home with wounds you can see, and some with wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Wounded Warrior Project was created to provide the support these wounded veterans need to ensure their return to America is well-adjusted and successful. But we need your help to ensure that our mission is a success. Help us honor and empower these wounded warriors. Contact us at findwwp.org. America, welcome home the brave. You can't buy a best friend. You can love them, pet them, care for them, whether they want you to or not. You can take a picture or 50. You can bring them with you wherever you go. You can jump, yell, hide and go seek, play dress up, or not. Go for a walk, or not. You can fly to the moon, travel the world, or just stay in bed. You can't buy a best friend like that. But you can adopt one. 'Cause we're connected. We're connected.
From Iraq and Afghanistan, our brave warriors are coming home, wounded. Some with wounds you can see, some with wounds you can't see. Wounded Warrior Project was created to support our men and women coming off the battlefield. Please help carry these Warriors the rest of the way home. Get involved at woundedwarriorproject.org.
And we are back. The Grizzlies have been on the hunt these last few weeks and ended their regular season as the #2 seed in the Western Conference. Franchise face Ja Morant made his triumphant return to the team as they defeated the New Orleans Pelicans on Saturday, including a mind-boggling 55-point quarter, the most in franchise history. With the NBA playoffs right around the corner, what do you guys like about Memphis?
Well, in my opinion, you got to love that your star player, Ja Morant's back in the lineup. Man, that's got to excite every Grizzlies fan around. And this is a team that they obviously played well without Ja Morant. So putting him back in the lineup, not only giving your bench with him out all that experience working together and actual playing time, man, it's going to make them have a deep run in the playoffs.
Yeah, and we talk about this has been a truly historic season for the Grizzlies. 56 wins, that matches the all-time franchise record for wins. They tied the 2012-2013 team, but they eclipsed that team in one way. This is the first time in Grizzlies franchise history that they finished first place in the Southwest Division. Again, first time ever. That goes back to the Vancouver days, okay? So the fact that this group of guys has been able to go out and do something that no other Grizzlies team has been able to do before, I think that bodes well for their playoff chances, and I look for them to make a run going into the playoff season.
Absolutely, and I'm not Einstein, I'm not a mathematician, but I have to say, they were on pace to score 220 points, folks. Let that sink in. 220 points. That is insane. This team is going to be even better with Ja coming back. They're a true contender. They're going to make noise in the Western Conference this year. And I know some people say that they've almost been better without Ja, but I think superstars only bode better for the Grizzlies, and I think they're going to be a better team as a result. Hockey arenas are cold, but it likely felt like Antarctica for the Predators on Sunday, as they lost to the Pittsburgh Penguins in an overtime 3-2 loss. The Preds still control their own destiny as far as the wild card race is concerned, but the race is tightening ever so closely as the Dallas Stars are right on their heels. Guys, what can be done to stop the bleeding?
Yeah, that was a disappointing loss to the Penguins, obviously in overtime as well. Man, Sidney Crosby for the Penguins just had a different type of game, and the Predators was unable to stop him. Now they still control their own destiny, but like you said, the race for the wild card spot is getting closer and closer to Dallas, and they're gonna have to keep it up or keep their foot on the gas pedal to make sure they make the playoffs.
Yeah, and one thing too I think is really interesting as we're approaching this critical point in this playoff push. If the playoffs were to start right now, the Predators would play Calgary, okay? And who do they play in 2 of their upcoming matches? Calgary. They play them on the 19th and they play them on the 26th. So we're going to get a preview of a potential playoff matchup in those 2 games. And the Predators, those games, they might be playoff games to start. They might need to win those 2 to even make it to begin with. So it's going to be real interesting to see, again, how the Predators look going in, because we've said the whole this whole season they've been kind of inconsistent. It's like, okay, they win 2 games and they lose 2, and they win 1 and they lose 1. It's like they can't get a run going, and that's what we need to see here going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm really worried about the Preds right now, guys. Usually I'm pretty confident, but these last few weeks, I just haven't seen the same fire that we saw, especially before the All-Star break. I think that was the nexus point. That was the moment where things kind of shifted away for them, and they started to lose a little bit of that edge. Now, it's not too late for the Predators. They still have time, but like we've said, the Stars and other teams are right behind them. They could make a run, and we know the history of the Preds and Stars in the playoffs. They lost in 2018, it was just a little bit ago. So you don't want to lose that playoff spot, especially to a Central Division rival. To me, Nashville has an opportunity, but they got to pick it up, and I'm sure they will. It is a tradition like no other, and this year's Masters tournament was definitely no exception. There were plenty of unique storylines throughout, such as the return of Tiger Woods and the rise of Cam Smith. However, it was Scottie Scheffler who took home this year's green jacket in a legendary performance. Seth and TJ, what was your biggest takeaway from this year's Masters?
To me, it was the point of Scottie Scheffler really separating himself from the pack early and often. Yeah, he wasn't leading after the first day, but man, he was 1 shot behind the lead with Cam Smith and just kept the foot on the gas pedal the whole weekend and was the only player to ever come anywhere near double-digit under par. Man, it was a sight to see. His short game was fabulous this go-around, and man, wow, what a prestigious course the Masters is. Only 9 players total finished under par throughout the whole weekend. This just shows you how hard of a course it is and how legendary of a moment it is. Awesome to see Tiger come back as well. I mean, not quite the outcome he wanted to. He made the cut, but after that wasn't quite the outcome. You could see he was hurting and wasn't fully 100% yet, not back to his complete self. But going back to Scottie Scheffler, what an amazing performance. Off the tee, he was fabulous. His iron game was knocking it within five or so feet every other hole. It was just a sight to see.
It truly was, and hey, you and I know a thing or two about getting green jackets as well. Winning the Masters is definitely a guarantee of a place in history, and Scottie Scheffler has now joined some elite company. When we come back, turn up your oven because we have our hot takes of the week. Don't go anywhere here on Sportsballin.
To pose, now shush. She makes the sound she makes to calm me down.
I'm here. Can you see me? Because I feel like I'm invisible. Like this whole place is invisible. If it weren't for the nightly news, no one would even think of this place. But down here, things look different. Down here, our spirits are bright and our dreams are vivid. And if given a chance, that's what the world would see.
In the past 50 years, we've made a lot of progress in smoking prevention. But if we don't do more, 1 out of every 13 children alive today will die early from smoking. That's 5.6 million precious lives we can save. Together, we can make the next generation tobacco-free.
Welcome back to Sportsballin. Rev up those fryers because it's time for Hot Take of the Week. TJ, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so my hot take of the week is the MTSU women's basketball team will win Conference USA next year. And to me, it's a given, honestly, because they were such a young team this year, so many freshmen. They had a couple leaders in Courtney Whitson-Dorsar and Maleshka as some of the older people on the team. They're only losing Dorsar, but guess what? We have the leading scorer in Conference USA, Savannah Wheeler, 1,000-point scorer from Marshall, coming and transferring to MTSU. She's going to fill in that spot and do great on that. But not only that, but we have freshmen. The bench is going to be completely the same. Maleshka, one of the best scorers in Conference USA as well. And not only that, MTSU just plays different. It's just a different type of basketball. Coach Rick Insell has does an awesome job coaching, and just has them shooting so many threes. It's just a hard team to guard constantly, and I just think it's going to be a matchup nightmare for everyone to come. Not only that, but some of the top teams like La Tech are losing key players as they're graduating, so I think MTSU is going to have a real good shot at it.
Yeah, I agree with you, TJ, because like you said, on top of all the talent that's returning, we're also getting a big addition in Savannah Wheeler. I mean, she averaged a little over 20 points per game last season. That was good for 17th in the nation. So, I mean, on top of all the other talent that's already on the Lady Blue Raiders team, and then you add a piece like this, that can only be a recipe for success going into next season.
Unstoppable.
Absolutely, they will be unstoppable. All right, Seth, so what is going to be your hot take for this week?
Okay, my hot take this week is that the Memphis Grizzlies are going to go to the Western Conference Finals and win the Western Conference Finals at that. And, we kind of talked about this while we were talking about Memphis earlier. They matched the franchise record for wins, and they got their first Southwest Division title. And just how everyone's playing right now, I mean, look at that. My goodness. Ja Morant, he's such an athlete. And it's not just Ja. I know everyone thinks Ja first because of those plays that he makes, because of his athletic ability. But it's Desmond Bain, it's Dylan Brooks, it's Jaren Jackson Jr., it's Steven Adams. It's all these guys that have come together and just really put together a team that, they're firing off on all cylinders. They play well together. They're having fun too. I mean, you can just tell from these highlights. These guys are out here, they're beating down on people and they're loving every second of it. So, and I expect them in here. Look, see, that's what I want to see in the playoffs right there, because they might end up facing the Suns in the Western Conference Finals. But I definitely think that this is the year, because right now, Tennessee, we've never had a professional team win a title. I believe the Grizzlies could be the team that breaks through.
Yeah, I don't think they can break through to the Western Conference, though, because, I mean, they still have teams like Phoenix. I mean, I know they took care of Phoenix without Ja Morant, but playoff season at the end of the day is different than regular season. I mean, it's just a different level of competition, different level of defense played. And not only that, they might have to go through Golden State with a healthy Steph Curry back. And I don't know if you guys know, but Steph Curry is a top 3 player in the NBA, undoubtedly. Not even a question. So it's going to be a hard two teams to face to win the Western Conference, excuse me.
I'm hurt, TJ. I'm hurt.
I actually have to agree with him, almost pretty much identical. So I'll keep mine brief and say it's pretty much the exact same points I would make. Really, Warriors and having to deal with the Suns is going to be a little too much for them. For my hot take of the week, I'm going to say that the USFL, the new Spring Football League, which is debuting this weekend, by the way, will be around in 10 years' time. And the reason I'm going to say this is because I think the USFL has a lot better in terms of backing. They're being run by Fox Sports. They're owned by Fox Sports, so they've got, I think, a more stable financial investors. We've heard about the AAF's troubles. We know what happened to the XFL twice. I think the USFL, and there you see some highlights, they were already around in the 90s and had some great players, like Jim Kelly, were in that league. So they have had talent in the past, and they've been proven that they can be a sustainable league. And I think spring football has a real niche right now, and it's just been circumstances such as the AAF with the financial backing and Tom Dundon, and of course, we've had the XFL with the COVID-19. I don't think the USFL will have to worry about that as much. And think about this as well. They're putting teams in markets that don't have a lot of football. They don't have huge pro football leagues and teams. So I think it's going to help the USFL to grow and expand as league. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I like some of the things they've talked about doing, like the first down camera angle that they're doing with the little graphics and stuff like that. I think that's cool. But at the end of the day, just look at recent history, the XFL and the USFL. I mean, they've lasted 3 years tops usually. At the end of the day, it's spring football. People aren't used to it. I mean, the normal fans, I guess, the diehard fans are still going to be there. But is that going to be enough to keep ratings up? I just don't think so. I think USFL will be gone in 3 or so years.
Yeah, I think there is room for another football league, especially in the spring. I think there's demand for it. But will it be the USFL? Because remember, the XFL, they're coming back in 2023. After the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson purchased them. So I think the XFL might hit the USFL with a rock bottom and put them out of business and claim their position as the spring football league of choice.
Well, Austin 316 says they're going to whip the XFL's butt. I'm rooting for USFL. That's it for Hot Take of the Week. When we come back, will it be the red or blue pill? We will find out when we make our picks of the week. Stick around.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right because a few hours ago in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign, not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
In the past 50 years, we've made a lot of progress in smoking prevention. But if we don't do more, 1 out of every 13 children alive today will die early from smoking. That's 5.6 million precious lives we can save. Together, we can make the next generation tobacco-free.
And we're back. It's pick time. First up, we have MT Baseball traveling to Lipscomb tonight at 6, guys.
Yeah, MT Baseball, they're on a roll recently with those couple series wins, like we said earlier in the show. Give me MT Baseball in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take MT Baseball as well. I say they extend their winning streak to 3 games.
Absolutely. I think MT Baseball's found form. Getting back to 500 has been huge. They're finding all the right tools they need to make a run. I think they'll get it done. Next up, the Sounds take on the Gwinnett Stripers tonight at 6:05, guys.
Yeah, I'll take the Nashville Sounds in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Sounds as well. They're on a 3-game winning streak, so I'm going to go with them.
I'm going to take the Nashville Sounds as well in this one. I think they've got all the right tools. They're going to get it done, like what I saw from them against Durham. Next up, the Preds take on the Sharks tonight at 7, guys.
Yeah, I just don't have the confidence in the Predators right now with their loss to Pittsburgh. I just think they're going to be on the downhill slope. I'm taking the Sharks.
Yeah, after that tough, emotional overtime loss to the Penguins, I say that the Preds fall to the Sharks.
Well, I got to say this. The Preds now more than ever need a victory, and I think they're going to get it in San Jose. San Jose struggled as of late. I think the Preds will be able to overcome them and get the victory. Next up, MT Softball takes on Charlotte Thursday at 6, guys.
The softball team's turning around a little bit. I'll take MT Softball. I
got to disagree with you there. Charlotte, they're 24-16, so I'm going to go with them over MT Softball.
I'm going to take MT Softball in an upset. I think they've played Charlotte earlier in the season, and I think they'll be able to take some of that into the next game. I look for them to get the victory. And last but not least, Nashville SC takes on San Jose Earthquakes Saturday at 2:30, guys.
Yeah, give me Nashville SC in this one, and down goes the Earthquakes.
Yeah, San Jose, they haven't won a single game yet, and they are dead last in the standings. Give me Nashville SC all day.
Yeah, I think an earthquake is at San Jose Field because they have not been able to figure it out so far. No wins, and the best that they can really say they did is they have 2 draws. So not good. I think Nashville SC gets it done. They'll get the big victory. Well, that's going to do it for today. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Sportsballin. Remember to tune in to BRTV to catch the show anytime. For Seth Tackett and TJ Warner, I'm Dylan Simmons, and we will see you all next time.